one agent on who, she's not comfortable going out yet. Why? The worst one, everybody has to come in. So guys, happy planning day. I can't believe it's November 16th and next week is Thanksgiving and our new year is going to start before we know it. Just a few reminders about the upcoming or the rest of the year. Try to keep your head in the game this year. It's more than ever before because of the fact that, we are in a challenging market right now, or a changing or normalizing market. So even if you did an hour a day of business, I'm not saying you have to do anything more than that. Just focus on your business for an hour a day. Do some type of income producing activity where you're not being disrupted, where you're not, doing anything that you shouldn't be doing, just to keep the momentum in your business now more than ever before. So before we get started, Noelle Nish is here today to introduce herself to us. She's an attorney from Morristown. I've worked with her father for years prior to becoming a manager. They did a lot of relocation, right? Relocation attorneys, I would say. So you were, but you do all real estate. But that's what I know. I used to work with them for. And so, a lot of the offices surrounding us have been using Noelle and they're very happy. So Megan asked if I can introduce her to our office, just so we have someone here. So a lot of you might know her or her father. So you want to just get up and introduce yourself real quick and how long you've been in the business and.
Good morning.
You probably know a few faces here. Yes,
I do.
yes.
My name is Noelle Nish and I am partners, I think with my father, Robert Nish, although now I've been, doing this since 2003. So a little longer than I care to admit sometimes. But the advantage of that is I've, experienced the shifting market, although every time all of us keep saying that we've never seen anything like this before. So we're adapting with it as we have to do. We are located in Morristown. I think some of you know we had a fire. We were at Willow Hall. We're back home as of July 1st. So I'm very excited about that. Buying furniture and getting ready. So we're hoping to do an open house, like maybe around the holidays, to invite everybody back in. So it feels good to be back in Morristown at our place. We represent Weicker Relocation. I think a lot of you have had deals with you on that, both on the third party sales side. I'm their attorney and also for any destination work and other relocation companies too. Aside from the real estate, we also like to think of ourselves as anything that you need for your family, right? So if you're buying, you're selling, you're refinancing, when you move, when you buy something, you need a will, we can help you with that. I think my dad was the judge in Mars Township for many years, so municipal court stuff. So it's like trying to be your attorney for your family as you're moving people in and out, and keep it personal because that's important to me. I spoke recently at the office in Morristown. I was asked to come in and just sort of talk about in this market what we can do and what we're seeing, because an unprecedented number of deals are falling apart. And they asked me sort of what I see is happening, how we can manage that, and what we can do to really keep them together. And I'll say the biggest thing that I'm seeing, of course, is the home inspections. And it's the buyers are no longer willing to pay an unlimited amount of money, so much over asking, with the interest rates rising, and then limit their inspections. Right, so the bump that I see and what I'm asking the realtors that I work with regularly is be very clear on the home inspection language. That, inspections limited to structural, environmental and safety issues. What I'm finding when we get into contract is that the buyers don't understand that technically that means they're waiving the right to ask for anything having to do with major systems in the home or appliances. And for me, when I can get people together, it's all about setting those expectations up front. Because I'm perfectly fine with the buyers waiving whatever that they're willing to waive and keep that part of the deal. right? Because at the end of the day, the buyer wants to buy, the seller wants to sell, and it's not my job to muck that up, right? I hear all the time once it gets into the hands of the attorneys. But what we do have to make sure is that everyone understands what the deal is. And so that's where some of that miscommunication is coming in that I think we can clarify. Just adding in that language, mechanical, right? Lets them know that if every single appliance is broken, you know, they have the right to do that. Having said that, I go over that with the buyers when we're in attorney review. I say, you can't ask for something just because it's old and your home inspector scared you, right? But they're gonna ask for it anyway. We have that second battle at the time that the inspection comes in and sort of that shell shock, you know, starts to hit them, you know, that there are things done at the house because when they do overpay, they are looking for that money on the back end. That's the biggest thing that I see with the buyers. The second thing is I really have to get a clarification with the buyers when they have a house to sell, but they really don't need to sell it in order to qualify for the loan. And if they're using some random lender who says you don't have to sell it, I had 3 times now, and it just happened to me last week, where once we got under contract and into the process, the lender said, oh, I'm sorry, I made a mistake. You do have to sell your house. So, well, I mean, when I have a seller, even if it just says in the contract.
Who was that later?
Yeah.
Just control your business. You don't have to worry about who the lender is.
You don't.
Not your lender.
You do. But Weicker does a good job of making sure that, you know, that's done, but sometimes they go rogue. Like they don't even tell you that they're switching lenders, but this one, you know, the pre-approval said, and it was someone that he had, you know, prior mortgages with, and he trusted them, and then they said, oops. And with rising interest rates and different things happening, they're like, you no longer qualify. So it creates a problem. And for me, when I have a seller, regardless of whether the contract has that line item in it that says it's not contingent on the sale, I'm adding in language that says buyer represents specifically, it's not contingent on the sale, the lease, refinancing any, you know, buyer owned property, so that we have that extra teeth on the seller side. But it creates a problem. There's one that's falling apart. You know, the sellers bought another house. We're, you know, 30 days in, and he tried to make it work, and he just can't make it work. So we're figuring out how we're gonna get that resolved. So it's another thing that's sort of scary that's popping up that we have to be aware of and really flesh it out in the time, which is why the attorney review takes a little bit longer right now. And I feel your guys' pain, I know, because I have realtors that actually come to my office and say, "You do that attorney review today," right? And all I can say is, I can get the first letter out today. I can't control anything else, but there's stuff like this that we need to make sure. And if there's any question that comes up about, you know, things on the property, if I'm looking at it and saying, are you sure that you don't need to sell your house or you don't have anything else to do, that I'd rather flesh that out now before we get in and it's been off the market, you know, for a certain amount of time, and the seller loses that momentum. I don't think it helps anybody. So be patient with me or whoever. We're trying to really get these issues up front so that we know we have a good tight deal going forward and not wasting anybody's time. And on the sellers, you know, God bless them, they're mad now, right? Because they didn't sell when they could have, should have, would have. And it's up to you all. I mean, I tell them, I'll tell them, they're gonna find something on the inspection. Like, you have to be reasonable. And there are things about your house. An inspector, I've never seen an inspection report in all these years that there's nothing. I've seen it where the buyer hasn't asked for anything, but I've never seen nothing come up in an inspection report. And just be prepared to give something to the buyer so that you can move the deal forward. And getting the seller out of that mindset where, you know, it's totally a seller's market. It's been challenging.
Yeah, who was in the business in 2006 when everybody was getting 25% over asking, and then that went away and the sellers were mad, right? Same thing. It's changing that mindset. You know, just like we changed the mindset of the buyers in the last 2 years to waive everything. Whoever would have thought that would have ever happened in our lifetime, right? Now we have to get back to the seller's mindset and changing them back to, we're back in a normalized market. We're not in the market that we were in before.
And that's better. I mean, and most of the attorneys I spoke to and a lot of the agents were really uncomfortable with that market where the buyers were waiving everything. And I'm seeing it come back now. And where it's coming back is the buyers are saying, I know that I couldn't ask for that in the inspection and I waived it, but the seller never disclosed that there was water behind the sink.
Have that right now. Bad water. So, and drain. And also in the bad. Over it has been leaking, and it's all kinds of tile. It was a skylight, and then you go in and it.
And yeah.
But never disclose that in the seller's.
No, and they know it's in there.
It's right, yeah, obviously, someone put the pan there.
On the submarine, all the tiles are soaking wet and you can lift it, so it's like.
And it's coming back, right? And the seller knew clearly there was there was something inside the wall. But it's really hard to go back after, but when they're looking to play the blame game, it goes first to you guys, right? I had one recently, the inspector missed something. And the seller, the buyer came to me and said, well, shouldn't the realtor be making the phone call to the home inspector since she would? No. You had the opportunity to interview. She gave you,
Right.
hired the people, you paid them, you go, make the phone call and figure it out. Like, I'm starting to see that come back, right? So, having a more normalized market, I think is better in the long run for everyone.
Yeah.
It's just how we get
Legally.
them there to, to make it happen.
So Noelle's in Morristown. Like I said, we've been using her for a long, long time, and her father, I know a lot of you have, so reach out if you have any questions for her, anything that's going on, she's a good resource, and hopefully we'll all be invited to the holiday party for the open house. Yeah.
I have to get the paintings up on the wall.
Yeah, there you go. But thank you for coming
Wonderful.
today.
Thank you
Thank you for
very
your
much.
time. I
Oh,
appreciate
thank
it.
you. Thank
Thank
you.
you so much.
I have a question at the back.
Oh. I do. I can leave cards here.
Yes,
or-
leave cards
yeah,
right here, and
sure.
I'll put them out, and then I'll also, when I'm sending out the meeting slides later, I'll add a slide with her information in it. So you have it there too.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, and feel free to reach out when you're thinking about contract language or whatever it is. I have agents that call me all the time and say, how should I put this? Right? Because I think setting those expectations in the beginning of it really does help.
Yeah, awesome.
Thank you.
Thank you. Good to see you again. Good to have you here. And Ashley's back from her maternity leave, so it was nice to hear her voice at the front, like, who's screaming in the front? It was Ashley. So Ashley's back and Megan's here. So again, we have a great team of support. Make sure you're controlling your business. When you don't control your business, that's when I'm getting the calls, because you have no control and you don't know what to do next, right? When you don't have a supporting attorney, when you don't have Anthony on your side for a mortgage, that's when I'm getting the calls, because everything's falling apart and you don't know what to do. And I can only be there to help pick up the pieces. I can't change anything I can't undo what you've done. I can't undo what you've done. So just remember that, it's so important. So no shortcuts. We're going to be talking a lot about no shortcuts today in our planning day. Because I think what's happened in the past 2 years, we got very comfortable with homes going on the market and selling extremely quickly, right? I remember prior to that, when the biggest issue you guys would have is I didn't get my brochures and the open house is here. What are we going to do, right? That was what we had to worry about. Last 2 years, did anybody order a brochure for a listing that they had? It wasn't worth it. By the time you got it, it would be gone, right? So all these little shortcuts we've started taking, we don't have to do a 2-step listing presentation because we're going to get the listing, we don't have time. The market's on fire. We don't have to do a buyer's consultation. All these things that we took shortcuts, we have to get back to basics, real estate basics 101. It's so important more than ever. So we're going to celebrate 2022. We're going to go over some of the top agents in the office up until now, obviously. 2023 market predictions. Live your why. Why are you doing what you do every day? It's not because you love the torture and stress that you go through, right? I know you love helping people, but identity-based habits, shortcuts that can cost you. We're not going to do the game because it can be instructions for it. We probably wouldn't have time anyway. And design a blueprint for success. So we're going to go over our income goals and our goals that we want for the upcoming year. So just to go over year, I know it's really important to know where we were last year and where we are this year, right? So as far as listings in our office, last year we had 269. This year we had 220. So we're down 18%. 18% down in listings, right, in our inventory. As far as Morris County goes, and these numbers, are year over year. They had 4,388 this year compared to 5,237 this year. So there's two ways you need to look at this, right? Number one is look at all the opportunities we didn't get, right? That's all the opportunities we didn't get. There was over 4,000 listings that we did not get in Morris County this year, right? So when you think of, that there was a shortage, think of that we live in a world of abundance. We don't live in a world of scarcity. There's always going to be business to go around. It's just, what are you doing to capture that business, right? Maybe it's not coming to you as easy as it has in the past. Maybe you have to do some more activities in order to get it. Sales, our office last year, we had 324 last year, down to 230 this year. That's sales. And I know it was more challenging this year because, you put in 25 offers for one client and they never got anything. And then they said, I can't do this anymore. And they backed out, right? Yeah. So the 29% down in sales year over year. And we all felt it. We all see it. It's consistent throughout the industry. It's not our office. It's not Weichert, right? It's consistent throughout the industry. And then sales in Morris County are down 18%, right? So what do we typically want to see here? That we're at least consistent with what the market's doing, right? We want to be in percentage wise, we want to be close to those numbers. So last year there was 4,000 sales in Morris County in GSMLS, and this year 3,288. Okay, so again, we missed out on over 3,000 sales, right? So there is an opportunity out there. There is abundance of business out there. And then again, these are just our office stats. How many sold? How many open houses we had? 584. This year we're at 566. So we'll probably be about the same, maybe a little more by the time the year ends. Marketed sales. So the difference between a marketed sale and a sale is, a marketed sale is if Brand X purchases Brand X agent sells the home. That means you marketed it, and so it's someone else wrote an offer. A regular sale is Weichert to Weichert. Okay. Sold is listings that you sold. So your listings, you had a listing and it sold to somebody regardless of who it was, right? So that's the difference between the different terms, just to clarify. That's always very confusing.
So only 57 sales happened this year to anybody? 100%? I think it's like
57 listings were sold, right? So 57 of your.
I think you're saying.
Oh, wait, well, Silvana knows better, right? Oh, sold is Weichert to Weichert. I'm sorry, I messed it up. Yes, I'm backwards. I'm backwards. So yes, Weichert, yes. So marketed sales are Brand X, sold are Weichert to Weichert. No, that makes more sense. And sales are everything all together. Okay.
But is that 57 just our office, or that's all of
Weichert to Weichert.
No, this is just our office though. Yes, this is just our office number.
So.
Yes,
So.
yes, it's not all the Weicherts in the world, or in our area. It's just our office. These are all just our office numbers, except for these two where they're just MLS numbers.
Well, with the sold, it's 57 properties. It's not two sides.
No, it's only Weichert properties, that's all.
Right, but, okay, so it's.
A property that's sold to another Weichert agent.
Yeah, just
Client.
one property.
Yeah.
Not the Weichert.
I confused it.
Okay, so. with the
180,
marketed
57,
sales, it's
37, 230.
I don't
the
know.
marketed sales plus that.
Yeah, I don't know. I got it right off my thing. Price adjustments are down because we didn't have to do price adjustments, but we still had a lot of price adjustments, right? Median sale price went from 565 to 610 this year. Okay, so that was an 8% appreciation year over year. Average sale price went from 505 to 656. That went up 10% in a year. List to sale ratio went from 101.8% to 104.5% in the year, so it went up 2.7%. Average days on market went down, that's a good negative, right, number. Revenue units down 24%. Wiker.com leads down by 7%. Conversion, so we converted the same amount of Wiker.com leads this year, 8/8, so that's the same number. Opportunity time from when people tell me, we had 28 last year and 25 this year. But like, Nitin just got one this morning when he was on. I said, Nitin always seems to get an opportunity call. I don't know why that's different, but he does. I always hear him talking to someone on the phone and he, asking all kinds of questions. So it's either the way he's asking questions or, converting that person. I don't know, but those are the numbers I know to be true that people have told me. Like, Paul Simone this year got a call. Someone was looking at a house in Basking Ridge or something, a buyer ended up listing their house and selling them a place in Long Valley. So, that was an opportunity call. So those are our numbers. And I'll put a glossary with them when I send it. I'm gonna have Silvana write the glossary. And so that you have the right information when you're looking over the numbers again. So 10 years with Wiker, John LeBar, congratulations. We had our years of service luncheon the other day. It was a lot of fun. John was our chauffeur. So we did a lot of talking all the way there, mostly about weddings and wedding venues. Not about anything else. So we had a good time. And then also Deb Pollock was with us. She's been with us 15 years. And then last but never least,
30 years.
So I posted this, I posted some pictures on Facebook and social media the other day, and my sister-in-law reached out to me and says, oh my God, I spent so many, I'm good friends with Bev's son, Dean. I spent so many evenings in the basement there with parties and this and that. So it's so funny how I say when we're in real estate, the world shrinks. Everybody knows everybody when we get to real estate. So next are the numbers of top agents in the office to date. So for top listing associate, Mara Glauberg is at 26 units and 18 million in dollar volume just for listings. This is just listing side, okay? The Brenda Lee team, 17 units and almost 10 million in dollar volume. Again, just listing side. She has to. She's gonna run away one day and you're not gonna know her. Her and Layla are running away.
Yeah, you'll be out fishing and shit.
Exactly. He'll come back, everything will be gone. Top sales associate, Jacob, 14 units and 20 million in dollar volume, and that's on sales sides, okay? Mara was 1 unit away and 500,000 under what Jacob is. So add that all up to where she's at $30 million this year as an individual agent. Just think about that. I mean, these numbers, I don't know how you feel, but if I was sitting in your seat when I was, these were the being like, how do I get there? In my mind, I'm thinking, how do I do that? How do I get to that? So Jacob had an amazing year and he officially changed his name. So his name is officially Jacob Wynn. Okay, officially, he literally changed it, everything, officially licensed, everything. So, anyway, that's a great year. And then top sales team, Brenda Lee team with 17 units again and almost 10 million in dollar volume. So, so great year. And so, again, it's all about is the half glass full, half glass empty. How your mindset is, what you tend to do with your business every day is how you relate to these top agents. And then top agent with the highest number of open houses held this year is Tabitha with 39 open houses. 39 open houses held to date. That's where she really, accounts for most of her business is having open houses, so. Which most people should, open houses are a great way to meet people face to face. But again, you have to have the right mindset. Are you gonna meet someone every time? No. Are you gonna have 20 people every time? No. And you know what? Having 20, 25 people, I don't even know if that was good for anybody, because you couldn't even build a relationship at that time. Half the time you didn't even remember who came to your open house. So open house is still a great way to grow your business, which we'll go over. And then lastly, but not leastly again, congratulations on growing your business, 2022, or doubling it by 50%. Okay, so these agents grew their business 50% more than they have in the past, or in the past year. So Betsy, Sonia, Carlos and Patty, Joanne Travisano, Nancy Cassidy, Phyllis Velarde, Paul Simone, Dante Pasquale, Zebby, and Howard Rauschberg all have double, their gross commission is double what it was last year. So congratulations, that's awesome. What's happening? It was firecrackers, there you go. So congratulations, guys. And then making a difference in our office, I want to, really put a spotlight on Lori Kaplan this year, because number one, first and foremost, she is a huge supporter of our All Under One Roof team. She is a huge supporter of Anthony Rosamilia. She's gotten opportunities from other mortgage people and has come to me and said, I just told them, no, I work with Anthony Rosamilia. She really controls her business time after time after time. She gets 6%, 99% of the time on her listings. Okay, 6%.
I would have tripled my,
You're the triple.
Yeah,
See,
It does make a difference.
it makes a huge difference. She's worth every penny of getting that extra money on her side. She's worth every penny. She goes above and beyond. And guess what? Every single one of you are worth every penny of getting more. You know what the agents are doing in like Hudson County, and they're getting 5% and 6%. They're only giving out 2% because they have to. So they're making a boatload of money on their side. They've gotten, because you guys allowed it to go to 2% on the buy side. So they're they're saying, well, if that's what people are going to get, are willing to take, then I'm going to get the rest. I mean, it's really ridiculous. 6% is what you guys are worth. Right? And I've heard agents say to me, when I've sat with them and said, you need to get 6%, you know what they've said? Oh, my clients are savvier than that. They're more educated. Bullshit. I think that Lori has very educated, savvy clients. I don't think that Lori- Never. Huh? No, you cannot. Not in GSMLS, not in our area. I'm just saying, agents are getting savvier and getting more money. So however you have to do it, do it.
It's 6%. Build 2,000, they're sale free and make more money.
Yep, it's the truth. It's the truth. You always want to work harder. No, that's wrong. You want to work smarter, not harder. Before I say it wrong. She's all about the community, donates her time and resources to various charities in Boonton all the time, collecting delivered food for the Boonton Food Pantry, and attends weekly office meetings. So that's why I chose Lori as making a difference in our office. She's always here, and very supportive. So congratulations, Lori. And then I couldn't do anything on a day-to-day basis. Well, maybe these days, just because it's so quiet. Not really, I can't. Without Savannah, right? Everybody knows that. Savannah is the queen. When I interview new agents here and I'm talking to new agents, I'm like, and I get to that part on my thing, I'm like, she is the backbone of the office. Like, you need to do whatever you need to do for her. Forget about me. Okay? Forget about me. She's the one. She does an amazing job here. We're so fortunate to have her. It's unbelievable, right? We said, what were we talking about the other day? That we was like, thank God she's still here. Thank God she's not gone yet. I don't remember why we were saying it, but I said, we made a pact. If she goes, I go. If I go, she goes. We made that pact. We gotta let each other know ahead of time. And then Laura's been a great asset to our office with our marketing and technology and building up her, she probably ran back in her office to do, oh, there she is. I was like, where is she? Because I didn't see her before. And helping out with custom designs and graphics and all the things that you guys need to keep your business going. So very fortunate here to have them. With that, I'm also very fortunate to have Anthony. So Anthony, this is a little bit about Anthony, if you didn't know. Yes, you're talking now, yes. Yes, you are.
So I put this together. We have some new agents here, so just, a little bit about me if you don't know about me, right?
So all know about you.
Oh.
And your mom writing all the reviews.
Laura, help me.
Oh, go ahead. Go ahead, Anthony.
It's all good. It's all good.
We know you don't want to pay your landscape while you leave.
That I have no problem doing. That's a little bit of therapy for me and snow removal too as well.
I don't want to pay for pasta $100 when I can make it myself, so I understand. I understand.
We talked about that yesterday. Just a little bit about me though. If you're, newer here, we have a bunch of new faces here in the office. We're doing a great job bringing people in. To help grow the office, which is great. Yes. We understand the organization. Gotcha. The problem is I'm not gonna come, I'm gonna come this way then.
Whenever we.
It's it does.
For you.
No, you're all good.
Like bad shots.
Oh, come on, it's almost 25. I didn't know you had.
Sorry, Catherine Michelle.
I didn't know you had to read.
It's all good.
Let's get these recognized by
Almost
mother.
25 years in production, including many years in working with some of the nation's largest mortgage banking conduits. As a licensed mortgage professional, Anthony concentrates his efforts in earning trusted advisor status with his clients. This means he is not seeking to just provide loans or mortgage guidelines, but collaborates with his clients to create and align his solutions with the bigger picture of his clients' overachieving goals and objectives. Anthony is recognized by his colleagues as a creative and pioneering leader with a vision of total customer satisfaction and exceptional communications proficiency. He has been a motivating and informative presenter at seminars, providing timely and relevant mortgage and financial advice to members of the local community. Anthony has conducted personal mortgage evaluations and recommended beneficial products and programs for his clients. He has also underwritten and assisted clients with techniques to minimize exposure to industry changes, a vital and often overlooked focus for today's borrowers.
Yay.
It's true, because Anthony wrote it himself.
Small room forum.
I've kind of mentioned you guys have seen the surveys too as well, just really leveraging this stuff. I think is really, really important. I've been getting messages through Facebook, someone I just spoke on recently for a client, and really, that's Jen's actually. I just closed on recently for a client I haven't seen in 25 years. He's a high school colleague of mine, someone I went to school with. And he's like, I've seen all these great reviews about you. I want you to help me with my mortgage, buying a house for the first time type of thing. So, those things are really huge. They're great for you guys too as well. When you have your closing, which is awesome. But really utilizing this, it's on my website. When people go to apply for pre-approval, they're seeing this first too as well. So taking advantage of it. I mean, everybody's really having great experiences with us at Weicker, but our relationships too as well as far as our transactions. So utilizing the reviews is a huge critical thing for this market. Everybody wants to look up companies, whether it's Yelp or any social media kind of sites, and seeing what people are doing. The reviews are huge. You've been seeing this, for the last couple of years since the pandemic. They were kind of really promoting this and letting everybody know. As of September, 97% of our customers were Philippines and family. It's huge. We talked about the buy down. We talked about meetings. I'm not going to dig into it more, but remember, buy downs are a hot topic right now. Buyers in the higher rate environment are able to take advantage of a first or second year lower rate opportunity where the payments, significantly saving them a lot of money for that first and second year, with the assumption and hope that we're going to go refinance them over the next year or two to bring that rate down right in that, window of time and kind of goes back up to the normalized rate that the current rates are right. So that's a great. Speaking of rates too as well, you guys saw the email I sent back, I sent out actually later in the week last week. We got a nice bump down rate wise. 10-year treasury sitting at some good lower levels right now. I haven't seen what rates kind of came out yet this morning, but they're gonna be lower than yesterday too as well. It's a great thing. You know, the word 6 is now like a normalized conversation, not 6%, but in the sixes, you know, so that's a great thing for buyers. Buyers from probably about a week ago picked up maybe about $200 in savings a month, you know, for buying houses right now. It's a great thing. That equates to about $50,000 in buying power. It's huge. You know, so anybody that's kind of hunting, looking, could be a great opportunity that if they're deciding whether or not, oh my God, it might be a bit too much, have them circle back and get a second opinion. You know, haven't spoken to them yet before. They could potentially afford more than they did a week ago. Such a great thing. Just a full suite of products, you know, everything from non-approved condos, jumbo loans to 3 million, you know, doctor programs, bank statement loans, DSCR loans, or more creative ways of bank statements and things of that nature, you know, not actually supplying extra WPs and pay stubs, borrowers with just tax IDs, renovation loans, I just closed one about a week ago. Loans are just interest-only payments, so you're not paying back the principal, you're just paying, paying interest monthly. Reduced document fees and loans, and then first-time home buyer programs through Fannie and Freddie, which is the Home Hospital Home Ready program. A couple of weeks ago, there was an adjustment to those programs. Those are great programs. Morris County market, it's about 102,000 is your income threshold, so there's a cap on that. But that program is great because when it rolled out probably about 3 or 4 years ago, it had some advantages. They pulled back a little bit on it. Now they, with the market changing and evolving, they've stripped off a lot of the adjustments that affected the interest rate. So rates are even that much more attractive on those programs too as well. Yes.
With the DSCR loan.
Debt service credit release. So let's say you have a borrower that's self-employed, owns his business, but doesn't pay himself a lot on W-2, but show a lot on his tax returns. I just closed one 3 weeks ago where we showed 24 months of business bank statements. We showed about 400,000 a month in deposits on average. So 50% of those deposits. You know, interest rates affected sadly on it. It's either that or it is about. If you buy $1 million second home, no W-2s, no tax returns, no pay stubs.
They catch up on that?
They've never seen any of that stuff at all. I mean, he's qualifying for financing, we're not doing any of that stuff. You know, it's just not an option. It's just like people taking like hard money loans and stuff like that. I mean, it is what it is. So, you know, these products are available. These programs were available in the mid-2000s, but with no money down options. It's that was a 25% down deal. So those options are available for not everybody, and they have a lot of benefits for people. Again, now the buyer knows what he has to do to qualify. He's like, all right, over the next couple of years, I'm gonna kind of do what's right on my tax returns and get things figured out. So he's gonna want to do what? Refund the rates. Because, you know, 7.99% on the rate at that time wasn't really super attractive. Imagine that. Yeah, we locked that one by. And then the guarantee, there's been some questions on this, especially some of the folks that are newer here that maybe have kind of missed the last couple of years, the evolution of the guarantee program. Guarantee program is super simple right now. If you have a buyer that's using mortgage and title and gets an insurance quote, and you have a seller that's engaged to as well, the seller or buyer would be eligible to get $5,000 of credit if we financial delayed the transaction. Right? So I mean, $5,000 credit goes to seller and buyer if we delay a transaction. We're closing every loan on time, super fast. I'm closing loans in 18, 20 days right now, if need be, with some buyers. So I mean, the days of questioning, oh, I'm doing a 6-week transaction or an 8-week transaction, you could put my back against the wall on whatever you're writing up in the contract. That's why a lot of times I always ask, if you guys are sending an offer, CC me the selling agent, because my first response is buyers are super qualified. I can accommodate any kind of closing date, what everybody wants to leave. And we can really close the gap if someone wants to knock someone else out and close in a few weeks, or someone's already built a house, needs to close, or maybe a deal fell apart on their listing and they really want to, they're already half out of the house already, they want to close right away. We can kind of really, you know, make those things really attainable. Any questions around the guarantee at all?
Yeah, the question,
Yeah.
the buy down program,
Yes,
it's for 30-year single family, or can it be applied for a multifamily?
it's
or investment?
conventional loans only, and it could be up to, you know, 4-unit multi. Just conventional, no FHA, no VA, 4-unit. So conventional loans on Fannie Mae, Freddie Mac loans, it's not designed for FHA or VA or USDA.
Investment,
Not investment properties, primary residential. Yes.
All under one roof.
Yep.
Does the buyer's credit come into play with that at all?
The guarantee,
Yes.
No.
No, what,
just a regular transaction. Regular transaction, as long as we're involved with everything, that's what it comes in from. So like if someone had a 650 price score or something like that, there's no bearing to the process. Bearing is specific to mortgage, title, and mortgage. Because at that point, we're controlling the terms. I'm working with Megan, our support attorneys, we're not worried about title policy coming in late, last minute, and then we're pointing fingers and who's the responsible party. We order title the day that the contract. No questions, no asks. We've talked about this before in regards to title. Many attorneys out there that are not supporting title or as far as whiter title, they like to order title when they get a mortgage commitment. So if we've got some issues going on with a transaction where there's issues with inspections. A lot of times they're waiting to get all the way down the line, you have no controllers.
Right. at least you order title when they check it right before the closing anyway.
Well, and you run into a lot of problems with that, because you can have an attorney that's ordering title very late in the game, and then what happens? Seller side has some issues, something wasn't cleared when they bought the house 25 eons ago. And then you have a title company, whether it's ours or anybody, they're scrambling, trying to get, free for title. They're chasing down lenders that aren't even in the business anymore. And then they have to make a decision whether they're omitting a mortgage or not, or taking the risk that way. All the more reason why, title gets ordered immediately with us. Everything is cleared and vetted all front. Meanwhile, every other attorney out there, they don't want to order it. The reason why they don't want to order it is because the title companies that they're working with have them on the hook for costs. If deals don't close, we're supporting the attorneys through title. There's no fee to the customer.
Sellers get-
Great
get a
point.
seller's-
No problem.
So it's out.
They'll do a seller's policy.
We do sellers and buyers policies on every single trade.
You know what I'm saying, for the title, they said that.
Oh, you- Yeah, exactly. If you're listing a property, you can always reach out to Meg or Ashley if there's maybe any questions that way. They can kind of check things first. Ashley, you're saying something? Sorry.
I was just repeating what you said about how we don't charge if there's a cancellation. I know we've said it before, but say it again, because especially now in this market, if you don't use it, oh, we have approval, and then at the end, they don't actually, and they need to back out, or inspections, or whatever it may be. We don't charge, which is huge, because there's no other title companies around that do that. So it's nice to tell your client, like, oh, well, my neighbor used Bob's title company, like, that's fine, I'm sure they were great, but if the house were to fall apart and we needed to find you a new house, if you use Whiteger title, you're not gonna get charged. So order with housing, they're gonna charge you, and then you're just out of pocket for no reason, and we're starting over for looking for a new home. So it's just kind of a little something you have in your pocket to help if it's a random attorney and it's not a support attorney that we work with all the time to get us the transaction.
And that's super. Well, you just gotta think about it. You're a buyer that's paying for home inspection. Let's assume they did apply for the mortgage. Let's assume they potentially got an appraisal at that point too as well. Now they have their inspection, they're trying to fighting that stuff all out. They've ordered title potentially through parties that we're not all involved in. Also, we borrow a $2,000 bill of no house.
Right.
Now what happens? You're like, hey, let's get out and go look at houses. They're like, yeah, about that. It's tough. And sometimes that happens 2 to 3 times potentially, so that stuff's really, really critical in working with the team. And that sounds like. And again, just get me involved in every transaction that you guys have, whether it's a second opinion, vetting sellers offers out. I spoke to, just my example, this past weekend, John gives me a ring, he gets an offer on a property. And, it's with a company that we all know out there, but a company that just mentioned that makes mistakes. And another agent I spoke to a couple of weeks ago with another issue on the same lender. And I vetted out the buyer's pre-approval, and hopefully we'll get that shot to work with them, which is great. So at least it helps John and the seller make an educated decision that they're not running around with some looking new lender and just having challenges, who knows what's going to happen, and things aren't vetted correctly. Take advantage of it. That's what I'm here for. That's a weekend. I spoke to the buyer, and he was like, listen, I can't get my lender on the phone. They're off on the weekends. Like, who the heck was off in this business on the weekends? It's super critical right now. So I appreciate that. We'll do the best we can to try to,
Because this is sounding like his mom. He was in Russia. Really, we had pre-approval within about an hour.
yeah, from his text message to me after done speaking with his customer, the pre-approval of white and the buyers.
You're so wonderful. Back to other slide. It says it all. Thank you, Anthony. And then, obviously Ashley and Megan, a great support team for our title. So they're always here for you. You can call them anytime. They'll, reach out to them if you have any questions. They're a great support. And Naomi, our insurance, partner. So you guys want to say anything or
No.
you don't have to?
Thank
Thank you.
1% market share in this office, which is all because of you guys and others. And we want to be here for you. So we're, available. You can call us, text us, email us, any questions that you have. We're not going to let everybody, whatever will help your business, we're here for you. So definitely give us a ring. Say, stuff envelopes, we'll write the letters, the labels, whatever it takes for you guys. We're here. So.
Great, thank you. And then before we go on, I just want to mention one more thing. So Elise joined us last week. I think it was official last week, right? She joined us from another brokerage. And at the meeting, which she came to, I talked about, we wanted to do a toy drive. We were looking for a organization that was really in need. Yes, we can go to the hospitals. Yes, we can go to the ones that are out there, but we wanted to do something really in need. And so she had remembered someone reaching out to her or seeing something on social media, reached out to them. And this is a organization in Morristown. It is Table of Hope. It's Spring Street Mission, I believe it's called, in Morristown. And I talked to the woman the other day. They're like in need of, they said they've never been so inundated with families in Morris County alone. They have like 500 families in need of toys. So I put these out here. Please support, bring in a toy for a child. Go onto Amazon, have it shipped to the office, whatever you want to do. Make it easy for yourself. Life is easy right now, right? With all the things we have. And I just want to put it up. We have until December 2nd. We don't have a lot of time. And literally, I just talked to them the other day and she was just finishing up her list because that's how inundated they were this year.
I spoke with her yesterday and she had said that they had to start a waiting list. They were so happy to hear from us because they had 550 families sign up already. And they had to start a waiting list because they didn't know if they could provide toys. Because Toys for Tots is somewhere they usually put an application, say, hey, we need toys for our families, and they denied them 2 years ago. And they didn't have enough toys to support them. So they put a waiting list together, but now with our help, they're hoping to be able to move those kids onto a real list. She's actually going to send me as well, because some of these kids made a wish list. Some of them are like, I want purple gloves or what have you, but other ones didn't make any specific things. So she's gonna send me a list of the age groups and also those specific kids if you want to choose the specific child to purchase for yourself. Once I have that information, I'll send it to Missy and she can blast it out.
Yeah.
It's cool to think that it's all our local community here that
We're supporting.
She was
Yes,
so
it's
happy.
amazing. So thank you, Elise. I so appreciate that. And I'm so happy to help. And
So when she-
when you see
is
what
when
people
collect
ask for,
presents. Oh, I know.
it's not like they're asking for an Xbox or, something like ridiculous. They're like purple slippers,
Not the
to keep my
ones in
feet warm.
church on the tree. It's crazy what those kids are asking.
Well, I don't know about your kids,
It's
but
not kidding. All the donations that come in, that what they do is they go through them and they make tables for the kids. So it'll be like girls ages, I don't know, 2 to 4, and then girls ages 5 to 7.
Right.
And so that those kids come in and they get to pick their own toy. Or the parents do come in and pick it so they can wrap it and put it for them for Christmas.
But I know-
It's an awesome opportunity.
yeah, I know we
Throughout
don't
the year,
feel,
She does do a lot of things and I'll keep us informed, whatever we want as a group we decide to be involved with. They do, I believe it's every Wednesday, they do a food table. It's Wednesday or Thursday. And people just go and they hand out, people come drive up or walk up and get bags of groceries. That's every week. And then I know they're doing a Thanksgiving food drive now too. I know we're doing one as well.
yeah,
But all throughout the year, they're always doing something.
yeah, that's awesome. That's awesome. And it feels good to help. And I know we all feel like we're being stretched thin at this time of the year, especially this year. Things are a little tighter for everybody with inflation and prices at the gas pump and prices in the grocery store and everywhere we go. But I know we can all dig a little bit and help out those who have absolutely nothing, right? Think of how fortunate we are to have what we have, honestly. Yeah, I'm sure. But then they would be able to bring a gift.
No, but
Yeah, well, we could talk about that. Yes, yes. We're gonna also do pictures with Santa as well here.
Just real quick, I know, you know of anybody that really needs, something for Thanksgiving, to eat or whatever. You have to bake food pantry, when you're doing, interviews on the phone. If they're embarrassed or know somebody that doesn't want to go there. I've been volunteering with the Maryland Rotary, packing up all kinds of Thanksgiving stuff. And I was out and about. So now I'm there twice a week, every week in the morning, packing up all these, Thanksgiving dinner. But you can go shop there. It's like a real supermarket. You're going in and out of these aisles. Nobody knows who they are. Just, it's real quick on the phone. And they just tell you when to come and tell what you want. They
That's
have gluten
amazing.
free,
That's
they have
amazing.
gluten free, they're most
Mhm.
stuff. And it's fresh meats, fresh vegetables. So if you know of anyone, just tell them, call the interface food pantry, costs nothing. And you don't be embarrassed. You know,
Yeah,
people are
that's
embarrassed
awesome.
all
Of
the time.
course, of
You
course.
just go. And I've seen people come in and they're just so happy. Like, it's probably the best thing I've done.
So I'm laughing at Deb only because, I'll explain to you why. Not because of the great that stuff that she's doing, because it's amazing, it's because she's now the new Carol Cole. So molding her to be the new Rotary Interfaith Pantry, Food Pantry Queen, okay? So that's why, as she's saying that, yes, I'm like, this is hysterical. I almost hear Carol coming from her. I almost see Carol's presence behind her.
You know, it's like 7 o'clock in the morning.
She's leaving on a cruise soon.
Yeah, exactly. Packed over 500. 500, that's just us, the Rotary, 2 hours, bags, and it tons of stuff in there, just with Thanksgiving.
I love your new passion, Deb, on life. I know you, I love it. I love it. 2 weeks ago, she's like, I don't want to give away dictionaries to the school. Now she's packing up groceries every day. Yeah, no, very nice.
You know, I have to do it.
Very sweet, very sweet. And we're glad to have a lot of community participation. That's what it's all about, guys, really. So just some 2023 market predictions, okay? So we can figure out what's happening. None of us have a crystal ball, but we at least want to know what's going on in our market in the upcoming year, because there's so many questions. So home price forecast for 2023. So the average of all forecasts is about 2.5% appreciation. So again, we're not going to crash. There's not going to be a depreciation. Are going to see a correction, right? So we're not going to see 8%, 10%, 20% that we've seen in the last few years. So 2.5% appreciation, which I think probably is pretty accurate. The root issue of what drives house prices almost always is supply and demand, which we can all agree with. So Dave Ramsey is an American personal finance personality, radio show host, author, and businessman. I saw a reel last week that someone put together that was his voice, and it was saying, now is the time to buy. This is the best time to buy in the next 5 years. Because of the low inventory, it's going to keep those house prices going up and up and up. Okay, don't worry about the mortgage. Don't worry about the mortgage rates. Don't worry about that. If you can do it, buy your house. Now is the time. So 2 things driving home prices upward. Number 1 is under supply of listings. Right, so this weekend alone, I've had Monday morning, a few agents came in, including you, Barbara. Right, you were putting in an offer way over asking on a house,
We didn't get it.
and they didn't get it.
We were in the top 3. There were 12 offers.
She recommended 100,000 over to her client. So if you think that that's not happening anymore, it's still happening. It's still happening if you price appropriately.
And just think about that too as well, because I was in that transaction.
Yeah.
Offers, right?
Yeah.
So there's gonna be 11 other people still hunting,
Yep.
offering crazy numbers in that market.
Yeah.
And what's the price point approximately?
It was 630.
635. So it's not 200, it's not 300,000, 635. Okay.
That was the list price.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And you offered over 100,000?
No, I told them, if you want this house, you're not gonna like what I say. First time home buyers, their very first offer said, you're gonna have to come in at least 100 over. And they just looked at me. Honey, they didn't say anything. And they got on the phone with Anthony right away. And they ended up going 70 over.
Still,
And still.
I thought they might have a chance, right?
Yeah.
I thought they might have a
Yeah.
chance.
And so I spoke to, because everything went to the manager. This is, I actually had a question about that. I was gonna ask you. So the offers all went to the manager, assuming the listing agent had one in there too. And I said, thank you. He was really good, very nice. I said, they were first home buyers. They listened to us. He said, I'm really impressed. And then I asked him, I said, out of 12, where did we fall? And he said, in the top third. But my question to you is, in a situation like this, all right, you're listing the house for 650, and you have a buyer come in, and you tell that buyer you're going to have to come in 115 over ask. How do you justify your listing price?
I don't know that you have to justify your listing price in this market. It's the activity and it's the competition
No,
that's out there.
I know, but
Yeah.
Is it you wanted to make it
I'm just, no, it's not.
attractive to everybody and you were.
Yes, you want to get that, you want, so the way to price the house is to price it lower and drive the offers.
Yes, but I don't know, it just seemed kind of, if you're coming in, not the listing agent, and you understand, but now you have the listing, and if that person tells you you need to come in $100,000 over, aren't you kind of looking at that agent saying, I'm not gonna work with you, because you don't know what you're doing?
What are you, are you the listing agent?
I'm just saying, like, if this is your listing.
What just happened with you right now, it validated you to your first time home buyers.
Yes,
Absolutely.
but I didn't have that listing.
Yeah, but
You
questioning
that you're
The
pricing
initial.
it to drive traffic there.
You're questioning the listing agent.
Yeah.
Questioning the listing
Okay, so,
agent.
so just so you know, there are a lot of people right now that don't know how to price houses, period. Because it is a very difficult market. If you think about the transition, so because of the transition of interest rates and markets going, I talk to a lot of realtors, they don't know what to do. So maybe that's their position. Maybe she was like, well, if I price it low, a little bit lower, you never know, because buyers determine the market value.
Yeah,
Because a
but
lot of
listen,
people are very concerned about what's
that
going
listing agent's fiduciary responsibility is to the seller and not to any buyers that come through that door.
Yeah.
So by doing it that way and saying, listen, this is where the comps are, maybe he was where the comps were. I don't know the whole specifics of this, this property, but let's price here, because I've found in my experience, if we price it at, at 650 or a little lower, then we're going to let the market speak, and those buyers are going to drive the price to where you're going to go, versus you want 725 or whatever. We're going to be sitting there because with the high interest rates, we're putting ourselves in a whole nother buyer pool,
Yeah.
right? So I don't know that anyone should look at him that way. A buyer should say, he priced it to get attention, and that's what he did. He did the right thing.
Fair
He didn't do
market is
anything,
below.
right? Yeah.
So this was a house in Cranford, and I looked, and it must be like you had said, which does make a lot of sense. You don't list it at what the last one sold for. You have to list it for what it originally listed for.
Yes, right,
And it
right.
seems like all of the houses are listing in the, low 60s, and they're all getting mid 7s.
They're doing something right then.
Yes.
Why are you trying to fix something that's not broken?
Yeah, right.
But
Exactly.
it's also, as a buyer's agent, it's so hard. That's why I said add 100.
So like David Castro yesterday told me that he put on an offer for his client, which had like 15 offers again. And it was priced at 435. He said it should have been priced around 450. He doesn't know what they ended up getting, but he's sure it's way over 500,000 for this price property. So we're seeing it over and over and over again, right? So it's just about pricing it appropriately to get the attention now, because nobody knows how to price, like Catherine said.
Yeah.
You can't go on comps basically and price a house anymore.
No.
You just don't know. So you have to really go by what
It's kind of like
what's
guts.
happened, huh?
It's kind of like guts.
It is guts. It is. It's
That's
knowing
why-
the area, knowing the neighborhood, and going with, knowing what's going on out there. Yeah, PTA is important, the PTA, but I think even now it's a little skewed because everything's so skewed out there. Everything's so skewed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If you get a seller that wants to do that price.
That will price, but we'll listen to you. Yeah.
Because normally they're like, well, it was sold 5 months ago, so I want to be priced up there. It's a harder job getting another.
Yes.
It's really realistic.
But also, if you show them comps of what's sold and they went 100,000 over, 110 over, that's what you show your buyer. And
Yeah.
that way they understand, well,
market we're in.
Yeah, you were right. You were absolutely right. And that could have been the number that got it to them. Who knows? When we don't know what the difference between 70 and, the two other offers that came in higher. We just need one.
It's supposed to listen to us. We're the professionals.
I know that, but they have to learn too. It's a hard pill to swallow. It's definitely a hard pill to swallow.
And the deal might fall apart. The deal might fall apart and you might get it.
You also
Yeah, you
have
never
to-
know.
That happened to me.
The highest number is not always the one that wins either.
Yeah, no, we know.
But most of the time, it's very close to the highest number that people end up picking. So under supply of listings is what's driving home prices upward still, right? Because if there was an abundance of listings, there wouldn't be 12 people putting an offer in on this house if they had a choice of other homes, and they don't. And then millennials peak home buying years. So this is when a lot of millennials are in the market right now. They're our biggest home buyers, and they're the ones who are driving the prices with money. Absolutely, they absolutely are. So that's what's driving the prices upward. So here's the US population by generation. So Generation Alpha is anyone under 18 years old now, okay? Millennials are from 21 to 34. Generation X, or I guess 39, I'm sorry, 40 to 54. And baby boomers, 55 to 74. And then silent generation is 75 to 85. So that's the different generations. We all need an education just on that chart alone. to figure that out. Huh?
I don't exist.
You don't exist. You do exist, you do. Everybody exists. Yeah, so.
I know.
So that's a good chart to have, just so you know who you're working with, right? So the millennials are at their peak home buying years right now. And then mortgage rates, don't panic. Keep in context. We just exited a period of abnormality, and it appears we are in a period of normality, or we're getting there little by little.
There is no normality in this market.
Well, but, okay, so just think, yes, for sure, that I agree with. So just think about this for a second, right? In, gas prices, right? They were, I don't even remember what they were before they went up, maybe $2.
$2.49.
$2.49, right? Then they went up to $4 and higher, right? And now they just came down this summer to $3.50. We're all like, yes, $3.50, that's awesome, right? It's all relevant to where we are and what we're doing, right? So,
Now they're up again.
and it's because they went up so drastically, so quickly, right? That was what hurt us. If it was years or months and years that it took to get from 224 to 424, it would have been part of our normal life, but it wasn't. It happened drastically. The same thing with mortgage rates. Think about that, right? It wasn't because we've been in 6%, 7%, 8%, 12%. I was in a 12% time when I bought my house, right? So it wasn't about the number. It was about how drastically it happened from January to August, right? How quickly everything went up. So now that they're falling back to 6, everybody's going, oh, that's good. 6.5. I love it, right? So it's, again, all relevant to where we are and what we're used to. And remember, those buyers who are coming into the market now have no idea. They're getting pre-approved. They're looking at their monthly mortgage payment and saying, okay, this is what their guide is, right? They didn't know any better. It's the ones that were in for the few months prior to that had a big, yes, it is sticker shock when it went up. So mortgage rates, where they started and where they ended by the end of the decade. So here in the 1970s, you see 80s, which is a good, 80s went up quite drastically. 90s went down, 2000s, 2010s, and then 2020s. So we don't know where we're going to end at the end of this decade. Hopefully we're in a good number. And then interest rates reached their highest point in modern history in 1981, when the annual average was 16.63%. Would you want to be a realtor when the mortgage rates are 16.63%?
Or a buyer like me.
Or a buyer, exactly. And look, he's still here to talk about it. No scars on his body. He made it
I
through.
was going quickly that one.
Yeah.
I got excited about recasting that to 11.
Yes, right, exactly. It's all relative. It's all relative. Continued hikes in the Fed funds rate pushed mortgage rates to an all-time high of 18.5, almost in October of 1981. Okay, And then by December 2020, the 30-year mortgage rate plummeted to a new historical low of 2.68%, which we were all a part of as we hit COVID, right? So many things happened that we didn't expect during that time. So here is a historical chart, always good to have, to share with people, from 1972 to 2022. So we've seen a lot higher interest rates, and even where we are now isn't even a blip in where it's been in the past, right? So again, it's all relative and it's all about our mindset. Our mindset has a great part in how we relay this information to our clients. So the future, nobody has a crystal ball. We say this every single day in our business, right? We don't know. Predicting rates is a guess. Rates aren't expected to decrease, right? They're on par or better than rates available in the last couple of decades. Those are the positive points that we can relay. So anybody have any questions about the market in 2023 or any predictions that we're putting out there? Okay, so live your why. Does everybody know why you get up every day and do what you do?
Yeah, we need to put each.
John loves it. Phyllis needs a paycheck. That's a good one, Phyllis. But it's deeper than that. It's deeper than that, why we do what we do, right? So we all have a passion, an obsession, whatever you want to call it, why we get up every morning, come into the office, or start making phone calls, or whatever it is that we're doing to build our business. So there are no shortcuts on the road to success, that we know. So there are no shortcuts to any place worth going. There are no shortcuts. You have to work hard and try to put yourself in a position where if luck strikes, uh-oh. Uh-oh. Does this move? Oh, yeah. Okay, there we go. There we go.
Take advantage of it. That's it.
Take advantage of it.
That's all it's about.
Okay, yes, I take advantage of it. Yes, thank you. Thank you. If you do the work, you get rewarded. There are no shortcuts in life. So what kind of sales associate do you want to be? That's what I always ask the agents on my morning motivation call to think about. Think about what you want to be. It has to be like you can smell the air, what you look like, what kind of clothes are you wearing, right? The whole picture of what you want to look like, how you want to present yourself in front of clients, in front of your friends and family, everywhere you are. So if a client Googles you, will they see your why? Do your day-to-day activities reflect who you want to be? What habits can you add or change to support your professional image? So we're going to watch a 3-minute video of why it's so important to know your why. If that makes sense. Why you need to, it's not Tom, it's not, yeah. It was, but I changed it. I changed it for you, John. It's all about you, John. No, last week or last year. Last year, if anybody remembers, at the beginning of the, there we go. I got it all. If anybody remembers, at the beginning of the year, I said, find something that you're passionate about. Find your passion and live your passion every day in real estate. What does that mean? If you're passionate about, Interfaith Food Pantry, and make sure everything you do every single day shows that, right? Post about it. Do some volunteer work, show what you're doing in the community, do what you want, and people who are also passionate about the same things, have the same interests, are going to be drawn to you, and that's how you're going to build referrals. And it's a nice way to do things. So whatever it is that you truly are passionate about, put that forward and make that about you. So this way people can see exactly what it is that you do every single day. So I think that's really, really important to do. And I still believe that. And that's part of being who your why is, because something you're passionate about, maybe like Interfaith Food Pantry, I could say Deb is very passionate about her family. She talks about her family all the time. She's just helping out her family all the time. She's running back and forth to Florida and doing this and that, right? Everything's about her family. So it all actually comes together. It ties together with who you are and what you want to be. And that will be shown to everybody out there, right? So that's a good way to start, by just finding what you're passionate about and putting that foot forward. Instead of finding things you're not passionate about and saying, oh, I have to do phone calls, but I don't want to, and you never do it. Or I have to do door hanging and I don't like to. Find something you like to do. Find what you like to do and put yourself out there. Just put yourself out there. So I think that's really huge. And I think it makes a lot of sense the way he spoke about it. I hope you all did too. It's just a nice way of saying, who are you? Figure out who you are and then put that out there so everybody can see it. So I did an identity-based habits exercise. So this is the first, everybody has a folder, or they should. If you don't, let me know. So this is the first form for today's skill building or goal building or whatever we're doing. Huh?
We're doing this right now.
Well, I would like you to do it. What time is it? 17, huh? Okay, so you can think about it. Here's a pen if anybody needs a pen. So this is identity beliefs. What is my why? What beliefs are core to this identity and what I believe about myself? Professional habits. What disciplines or activities do I need to transform into habits to become the professional I want to be? And professional outcomes. What professional goals do I plan to accomplish this year? So if you guys don't want to do it now because we're running late, we're always running behind. Well, yes, then I want you to all to send it to me. Personally, I'm not going to share it with anybody, but this way I know you guys did it. Because what's going to happen is you're going to leave here with this in your hand and you're never going to look at it again. I already know. I already know you guys very, very, very well. Yes. Lori said to me when I was here about a year, Lori said, our past managers, by the first year, they had gained a lot of weight. They lost our hair. Like we really put, like literally, this is what she said to me. I'm not even exaggerating. She goes, we put them through the ringer. Like they looked horrible. That's what my inside looks like, people. Okay. That's what you've done to my inside.
You're welcome.
Yes. My inside is all mangled. And then sales activity. Oh, let me go. So build habits to reach your goals and sustain your business. Taking the smallest shortcut can cost you. And let me show you how. So your reputation, income, ability to earn top commissions, buyers and sellers, referrals, create good habits today. So invest the time now. New habits will become second nature. It's the truth. The no shortcuts can cost you. Let me show you some examples of that. Tacoma Narrows Bridge. Unstable cables flexibility result the bridge gave way to high-speed winds, snapping the support cables and dropping into the river below. What was the cost for them? $11 million for that shortcut. Subject, Hyatt Regency, Kansas City. Poor construction, unstable walkways, elevated walkway collapsed. $50 million for that shortcut. Leaning Tower of Pisa, this may be one you know. Unstable constructions due to shallow foundation, over 800 years of repairs. In the 1990s, they had to add 600 tons of counterweight to balance the base. 25 million in costs that they did because they took a shortcut.
Less than new construction.
That's
That's
so funny. So what do shortcuts cost you? According to NAR, average home price of 400, which is very conservative, right? That's what I use for a new agent here as a conservative number. Average commission 2.5%, average split 60%. How many transactions do you lose when you take shortcuts? How many future transactions do you lose when you take a shortcut? So lost income potential per transaction is about 6,000 in gross commission. Think about that every time you take a shortcut. When you say, I'm not going to do a two-step because nobody wants to do that, and I don't have the time for that. All these, I'm not going to meet the buyer in the office first or at a place nearby. This is what you lose. So Weikert's open house system, 40% of Weichert business comes from open houses. That's almost half of your business. So everybody should be running to Silvana after this. For Silvana, after this meeting and saying, get me an open house, Silvana. I don't care what day, I don't care what time, I don't care when or where. 2022 average Weichert open house attendance is 7 guests. Expected conversion is 2 to 4% with a strategic follow-up plan, which could be your My Weichert, could be that easy. What would it cost you if you cut out open houses? One open house a week with 7 guests equals 336 opportunities. 336 times 2% conversion equals 7 transactions, and 7 transactions times 6,057 is 42,000 in lost income a year. So multiply your ROI in 3 easy steps. Host multiple open houses each week. Promote every open house multiple times in multiple ways. Neighborhood calls, door knocking, email, text, or database, social media with landing pages, close with every guest multiple times. I love when an agent comes to me and says, I didn't have anybody in my open house this weekend. And I'm like, okay, so what did you do to market your thing? Oh, what do you mean? They have no idea. They just show up that day. You have to do you can't take a shortcut and just show up there and expect people to go. Make some phone calls, go door hanging around the neighborhood, do something to attract people to come in. And if you had your My Weichert set up, then you would have hashtags where you can send that open house to certain people who you've met at other open houses. It would be that easy. So according to the Association of National Advertisers, the average of direct mail response rate is 9%, which is pretty impressive compared to the 1% average response rate for email. So over 40 postcard themes to select from, ability to create your own message to align with your farm strategy. Tip, use QR code on your direct mail pieces to track your results. I think you should have a QR code on everything these days. Everything has a QR code these days. What do you stand to lose this year by not sending 100 to 250 cards per month? It's very reasonable. 200 pieces times 9% response rate each month is 216 leads. 216 times 2% conversion equals 4 transactions. Again, it's 24,000 in lost income if you're not doing it consistently. You can't send it out once and say nothing ever happened. It has to be a plan for the whole year, consistently, month after month. So increase your ROI with a targeted seller farm. So by average sale price, by length of residence, look for areas with a high turnover rate, divide the number of homes in your farm area by the total number of homes sold in each of the last 2 years to calculate the turnover percentage. Avoid farms at lower than 6% turnover to receive a quicker return. And then engaging your sphere. Average agent gets 19% of their business from their sphere of influence. Increase your efforts and make more money. Import your sphere of influence contacts and utilize My Weichert Sphere Playbook. Divide your SOI database into groups and use a monthly call list using the My Weichert app. Add a market report search alert to each contact. Add each group to the newsletter campaign. Plan a pop by at least once a year with a small token, just once a year. An NAR study found successful agents get 64% of their annual deals from their real estate sphere of influence. So an average agent gets 19%. Someone who has a plan in place gets 64%. Look at that, how that throws. I mean, that's a crazy amount if you actually put some time into it and you have your My Weichert that can keep up to date with your clients. So lost income is incalculable, not one. Two-step listing presentation. Present the full system. First visit, getting to know you. Second visit, build rapport. Present the customized listing presentation. Comprehensive price strategy using the price trend analysis. Leave behind with property business cards. This process yields more listings and higher commissions. What if you received 1% more on your listings and won one extra listing a year? That's about 38,000 in lost income, just by 1% on one of them, right? Getting 1% more and losing one listing. That's a lot of money to lose, a lot of money. So converting buyer leads, close more buy-side transactions in less time when you start with the buyer consultation, setting expectations, validating their purchasing power, understanding their motivation and urgency, prove the need to be represented by you as their buyer. Control the process and gain lifelong clients process. You're not designated door openers. That is not what you came into this business to be. So you have to meet with clients, even if you do it by Zoom. You know, COVID did a lot of great things where you can meet people virtually now. You don't have to meet people face to face and go over the process with them so they understand. So I know Laura won't mind if we push you to next week with that.
That's good.
Yeah, so,
You touched on.
Yeah.
Just reiterating that.
yeah, so we'll put this in next week's slides, our geographic farming slide. Don't look at it. The battery been running low. It's been plugged in the whole time.
Maybe out of this.
Yeah, I know.
Don't step on your glass.
No, these are my favorite. I can't tell if it's going or not. Oh, I can tell if I look at it. Nope, it's not working. Okay. That's working. Okay. That's very scary when my thing is going. Okay, so this is now getting into the business planning portion. So, take out your record success plan. You don't, again, you don't have to do it right now because everybody's sitting very close. And I was hoping to be in the classrooms and we'd all have our own little spots, but we don't. But I want to make sure if you have not done your business plan online, Carlos, Sam, you have to go on and do it. I know I'll be calling Carlos until February and he'll be like, Missy, I promise I'll do it. So this is how you do it. So you'll be getting these slides. You can see exactly how to put it together and what you've done. I've done this with so many of you before, so I'm sure you know what to do and how to do it. Stuff in here. So it just takes you step by step of how to put together your business plan if you haven't already. But if you do it online, it automatically does all this for you. You don't have to do it step by step. So how many more transactions do you need to do to hit your goals? Can I do more business? Do I have time to see more buyers? How can I attract more sellers? What habits will I need to change? What shortcuts must I avoid? Do the same number of transactions, but make the transaction value larger. Focus on past buyers ready to move to bigger homes. Look for sellers in more expensive homes. Make your average transaction bigger. So don't reduce your commission. Know your value. Don't take shortcuts. Perfect your dialogue. Increase your listing side transactions. Get paid what you deserve. Control your income. Collect 3.5% over 2.5%. That's what you get when you take 6%. So this is how Rikers spelled success. And this has been something that I got back in 2006. It hasn't changed today. It's the same thing that has been around forever because real estate is basic. You just have to do the basic things every single day. So look back to move forward. You can't really know where you are going until you know where you've been. So I provided this with you, but this is actually on Wiker.com, and that's the easiest way to do it because it's an Excel spreadsheet. So document found in the business planning section of Wiker University, identify where your business came from last year, calculate how much time you spent on prospecting and converting this business, uncover your highest and lowest rate of income. Return of investment, thank you. No, determine where you need to spend your time. Let's take some time to complete the document and then discuss. So again, just making sure you're tracking what you've done. We establish what kind of agent we want to be. We identify what habits we need to create. We committed to no shortcuts. We set our goals for 2023. Now let's turn our commitments into activities for 2023. So this is what your business plan looks like, as you all know, and there are no shortcuts to the road to success. No more shortcuts. Those 2 years are over. We have to get back to business the way we used to do it. And it's about doing everything the right way. You know, doing a buyer's consultation, doing a listing presentation, sitting down with clients, explaining expectations more than ever. So on the opposite side of your folder, one side was all about your planning. The second side, there's 2 things. There's 20 ideas for the holidays for you to do. Okay. And then there's also the Weichert scripts, updated scripts. Okay. So for those of you who are interested in doing calls, maybe you're not comfortable. Every Tuesday at 2 o'clock, we're doing a call session. So we did it yesterday. And so I did it for Kelly because Kelly was uncomfortable making phone calls. And so I said I would do it with her at 2 o'clock every Tuesday, but I'm going to invite everybody, which is what I did. And so we had about 4 people there. And what we did was since she wasn't comfortable, I made phone calls in front of her. I went on to the private call session. Gave everybody scripts and I just started calling. I just started calling with it on speakerphone so they can hear my conversation. It was just normal conversations I was having with people. Everybody was nice. Everybody was, whether they bought already or they decided not to, or whatever the case was, everybody was friendly. And then Dante was calling expired listings. And the beauty of listening to Dante was he listened to Kevin Gaffney and he had Kevin's script, but he knew it off the top of his head. And he had no problem calling expired listings. David called a private call session call and got an appointment with the buyer. So again, there's opportunities, but you have to put yourself out there. They're not going to come to you. You have to put yourself out there. So every Tuesday at 2 o'clock, we're doing phone calls, and I do have it on Zoom too. I'm telling you guys, you have to adapt, right, to the new world. I have to adapt that people don't come in and it's not as much camaraderie and things that there was in the past collaboration. So I'm trying to do things more hybrid so that I can at least get your attendance, at least get you there. I'd prefer that than not having you there at all. So thank you for coming. I don't know if you have any questions. We have lunch, like I said. Yes, Lori.
Anybody here going to triple play?
Kelly already booked. Yeah,
I know you're going.
Vin already booked.
I know.
Marissa and Dante are going.
Okay.
I'm gonna go for one night, I think.
Okay, I know Kevin's.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You can be on your honeymoon?
No, it's a couple days before.
Oh, it's a couple of days before. I can't remember. You're allowed to curse in here now. You're allowed to curse in here now.
Said what?
Yeah, oh, that's my way. All I said was good. Hey, I didn't say the F word, I just said shit. Very, thank you very much, that was nice.
Thank you. I tried, Nance. I tried.
Never said.
Mhm.
Right.
I'm gonna pop over to the other side of the building and warm up a little bit and then I'll be done.
And I never know how to dress. Cause I could wear a sweater and then be sweating to death and I could wear another thing in between. I just never know here. It's horrible. Thank you. Yeah, thank you. It was a gift from someone.
Everybody jumping in, they're hungry.
Well, it was only good planning.
But you're doing all the
It's women, you know. I think so, if you're handling it there.
I didn't even pretend to say they was trying to.
Yeah, I don't know. All right.
Okay.
Thanks.
Almost done.
It's where I saw bowls, like, how convenient. How convenient.
Boy, what's that?
I know she texted me last night, and so sad, so upset.
It's so shitty.
Oh, there's the bowls, there's the bowls. So what this is.
I think
What's
the
that?
top one has chicken.
I don't know what's about, have you ever seen?
They said, go away, they're chatting.
Oh, maybe I haven't had it before, no?
When you want, no, it's not supposed to be, because only it's in the sandwiches. Bill, they're not cold cuts.
There's a meatball right now too. Yeah, on my list, area next to it, the whole country, I'm like running rampant. I found out from someone else yesterday. Yeah, but we have to look at the source, right?
Yeah.
Oh, you're gonna take
Like,
the
what am I doing?
That's funny.
It's like we work together a bunch of times, so I kind of.
That's another convention center. The best thing is.
I'm getting more stores for the office. Trying to.
Yeah. Oh, that's it. Okay. It is everything. I thought it was more process, so I skipped it to be clear. Oh, my God. Okay. There we go. Oh, there you go.
Kelly, noodles? Vertical walls on here, delete everything but that.
I didn't know we could go about.
Thank you, Ben. That means a lot from you. So much more, you go, sir.
Yeah, we put staff.
In my own head, in my own head.
Yeah.
For 1999.
But they're not in yet.
Okay.
Yeah.
But other people across the street.
I know Maria saying that don't go like.
Right, yeah,
Bob.
You know, I think open your name. And they're stuck in it. I'm like, "God damn it.
Yeah.
They tell her, I don't know if they told her, but Lisa and George told me last year that they had caroling.
Oh, yeah, no, they know who's that. Was the guy from the association.
I was like, oh my God, this is
Yeah.
weird.
Get ready?
For the big day.
Hi. Oh, my God. It's working, it's expensive.
Yes.
Planning, well, even.
Yeah, so they're almost done painting now. Good. They're coming along, everything's strong. She started tiling food out yesterday. Upstairs. We just do that last because she's gonna want to get there and everything. The carpets are scheduled, I want to say the 17th, whatever. But I think.
Yeah.
Hey, yeah, getting close. It's going. You forget about things. You're like, oh shit, we gotta do that. Oh shit, we gotta do that.
Yeah.
So there, this one.
And Janet,
That goal was.
I'm not-
You are.
Oh my God.
You are finished now? Nice.
We have tonight, last month. You just take.
They already have. Yeah, exactly.
I'll be honest, I went in. A little change.
I can't even tell you, I wasn't there most of the
Give it that. My thing was like, what is the priest? I'll ask you married, teach me about marriage.
Right. Because you think,
Yeah,
they've never been married.
but I mean, it's been pretty good. So, my friend's never been married, so. it was helpful for her. But
I think it's.
so much extra stuff. is-
So I'm not to I went my God.
Yeah, it's very
I
open.
know that schools tend to
Yeah.
worry about details. about-
Yeah, I legitimately kind of want that. It's very, very-
She's driving herself nuts.
So we're not
Yeah.
doing this. You know, so-
Credit me.
Actually, I keep telling her that. It's like,
But I mean, that's my primary clientele base, that she did that too. And I-
things that are,
There's like,
are issues.
As customers down to look further into. But I guess
that
a little more, like a little further down, I can't think of the name of this tree right now, but.
What are you worried about? You straighten out. I don't care how long it's there. Her concerns.
Good, yeah, you're looking at that, maybe I can listen.
Let's get together Monday.
That was great. When I get my house done, maybe we can have you all over for dinner.
I was just trying to run in my lap and try not to make it myself. I couldn't.
Right now, I need more time.
Yeah, she planned hard. And she planned, no meat there. And then there's sandwiches here, there's stuff that are vegetarian. There's even some vegetables, chicken. So you need a chicken. Not even these sandwiches, sandwiches are either chicken or
No clothing.
Oh my goodness.
He doesn't need.
We're still going to PT twice a week.
You know what, though? You'll be happy when it's done and you'll feel better.
Right.
Or maybe you won't be.
I'm gonna tell her.
Here you go. I want to.
But it's funny because you look familiar to me too when I came in. Lake Hiawatha. I was with Terry O'Connor Realty in Kinnelon, and then I lived in Lake Hiawatha. I used to teach in Parsippany. I've been moving a lot for things, so maybe you just, I'm assuming you live in. No, oh.
Everybody assumes she does, yes.
I assume. Do you live nearby? Okay.